It was hot today, and then it stormed really bad. And so now it's nighttime, and I have an idea. This place is called AuxLand, and it was named by my daughter after Auxilium Auto, which is the nonprofit that goes to provide financial mechanical assistance to those who depend on their transportation for a living. I bought this property a few years ago to be the home base for Aux Auto and to house some of my projects. This is where I do them, and I want to share that with you. So for my auto mechanic friends that I realize probably have as short of attention span as I do, I'm gonna start with the shop. Last time I ended with it, but this is kind of the place right here. This is the shop. This is where I do a lot of my projects. But what I bring in here are things like people that need their battery replaced, their brakes redone, or any kind of part replacement. I can do that. What I've been doing lately is I've been taking cars to reputable shops that have guarantees on their work. It works out better for the shop because the shop gets paid and the owners of the cars get to have guarantees on parts and labor. For the most part now, the way that I've kind of got everything configured is this is really just for my projects. This is the 74 New Yorker. On the other side is a 69 Roadrunner. There's a 300 over here, and then there's a 69 Charger. If you like any of those cars, you know, maybe it's worth a subscribe because you get to see me doing fun stuff with them every now and again. But you're also subscribing to a program or a project that provides financial mechanical assistance to people who need their transportation. And just think about you paying a $2,200 mechanic bill. For some people, that's like a month's income. If it's not a month's income and $2,200 is nothing to you, maybe we should talk about donations. For a lot of people, $2,200 is a lot of money to spend just to get your vehicle running so you can go to work, so you can make more money. The reason that we're out here in this really dark, scary area of the property is to show you this right here. This right here is part of Aux Auto Assist number 2. And what happened in that one, it was a Nissan that had a bad CVT transmission, and I didn't know a lot about those transmissions at the time, and I thought it might have been a shift solenoid issue because I did a little bit of research, and that's what I thought it might have been. So I took on that project, and it turns out that it was gonna be a $3,500 CVT transmission replacement. I couldn't afford that at the time. My kid got a car to last her through, was that a bird? I think it was a bird. It was about time to transition from high school to college, and this was her old car. And what we did is we gave it to the owner of Aux Auto Assist number 2. And she crashed it, and it's got some non-fixable damage on it. Her first crash was in a car that didn't really matter a whole lot financially, maybe sentimentally. I get that, okay? Understand from a very reputable source that because of that crash that they had in this car that we provided them, they're more aware of the capabilities of a vehicle in unsafe conditions. So unfortunately, this thing was sacrificed, but it was sacrificed and somebody learned a very valuable lesson in this thing. And you know what, maybe I can still use this thing for some parts somewhere else. It's pretty, you know, it's a GM. So I did a video about a year ago. It was the Aux Auto Complex update, and I explained what this property was, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time talking about that, but I really kind of want to show you an update of where it's come since then. The first floor was the office, and it looks good in these pictures, but there was nothing good about standing in this office because it smelled like a skunk got into a fight with a skunkier skunk. So I had to pull the walls off of all 3 stories. Critters moved in, and they invited every single one of their relatives. The building was abandoned for a couple of years before I got it, so they moved in everybody and had parties and drank a lot and did things that critters do. Now it's just kind of a display room where I have a bunch of stuff that I just haven't gotten rid of over the past 40-something years, and a couch just to sit in. So this room gets the coolest, so when it's hot like it is right now outside in Tennessee, it's nice to just be able to step right in here, sit on the couch, and kind of relax. I've always wanted a flux capacitor, but you can buy them for like $900, or you can make one, and that's what I did. That's why it doesn't twinkle like it's supposed to, because I just use LED lights that flash. This is another thing that I've got in here. This was the first little engine that I took apart. It was from a lawnmower. This was the first introduction, my first introduction to internal combustion engines, and I took it apart, and then I realized how the things work. And I went from lawnmower engines to this Charger. This was a me and Dad project when I was about 16 years old. You could buy these cars for about $5,000 or $6,000. Believe it or not, you can also sell two 1968 Chargers for $3,500. Why would anybody do that? There's also little things like this. These lug nuts came off of Kyle Petty's race car. Came off the car into my hand. This is when I was working with a project called Darius Goes West. We took Darius all over the country. He rode around in a 300-pound wheelchair. And at that race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Petty family gave us a wheelchair accessible van that we could use to take him all over. That movie project was also my introduction into the nonprofit business world, how everything works and the stuff that you need to do. It's available on YouTube if you want to check it out. I started doing the sealer stuff, and it's really expensive, so I just got some spray paint. This blue right here is a, I don't know what brand it is, but it's a Mopar engine paint, and it works great. Painted the stairs black. Then up onto the second floor. This used to be a living room type of situation. Now it's more of just a lounge because I've taken the kitchen out. This used to be a kitchen over here. It's no longer a kitchen. Now it's just a couch, a little setup with my grandma's lamps, who recently passed away. Walking through on the second floor, it was just kind of like the first, where all the walls were still off of it. A lot of these kitchen cabinets I ended up giving to somebody. Some of them were still in really good shape. I don't think the kitchen was even that old, but this little spot right there is now where this little bar area is. I didn't need a kitchen in here, and I took all the appliances to my house. Anywho, we head up to the third floor, and this is a whole other experience and a whole other YouTube channel. So in the original update, I was talking about this being like a digital editing creation room, music room, and that's kind of what I got going on. This is where I do a lot of the computer work and stuff, because there's lots of plugs around this wall, and I do a lot of genealogy stuff. That's my papa. He also recently passed away. It's been a tough year for this family. But this room is for this stuff, and it is on a different YouTube channel, but this is kind of who I used to be. It's who I still am, but it's kind of who I used to be. But I still am, but used to be. And probably one of the biggest contributions to AuxLand is from my little brother, who said, hey, I got this camper and I need to park it somewhere. Can you park it out at your place? I said, yeah, I can do that. That's very possible. Let me haul it down from Michigan and I'll park it right here. And this is what I sleep in. And when the weather's really crappy, this is where I stay in because it's covered. It's the home base of Auxilium Auto, and the whole purpose of Aux Auto is to provide financial mechanical assistance to those who depend on their vehicle or transportation for life. Some people have medical appointments to go to. They have kids they have to pick up. They have jobs that they have to go to. We have to be able to get ourselves from where we live to the things that make us prosper. And what I want to do is make that possible. There's a lot of people out there that struggle to make that happen. There's a lot of people out there where a $2,200 shop bill will be devastating financially. It'll be devastating for your life. And I want to provide assistance for that. And that's what we've been doing. We're on Aux Auto Assist number 11, and you need to check that one out because it's pretty important. I'm not begging you for subscriptions. I'm not begging you for likes or comments, but at the same time I am. I like nonprofit stuff. I like cars. I like auto mechanics. And I combine them all. I want you to join us. It's the next day. This is my parents' garage. This was the place that I spent hours upon hours in working on that 69 Charger. Matter of fact, this is where it was parked when I first saw it. I'd like to tell you that story too, because it's a pretty good one. Maybe in a short or something later. This is actually the engine for this 69. It's the original numbers matching 3 to 3. And just inside from here is the little, it's not really a machine shop, but this is where I would work on stuff. And a lot of the stuff still sits here. This is the OG shop. This is the one where I learned how to take apart that little orange lawnmower engine that I showed you like 4 hours ago. But this right here, this was my jam, man. This was my place. I'll go one step farther. This would have been the OG shop. Before this, the addition was put on this house, this was a drive-in carport. Those two windows were windows to 2 rooms. One was the sports room with all of our equipment, and one was the trash room where we would put trash, and the rest of it was a carport. And we had our 2 Power Wheels parked in the sports room with the little battery chargers, and that was my first little shop, because when you're changing the batteries on those, you're basically doing an engine overhaul. So that would have been my first one. So if you happen to still be here, maybe I'm playing in the background, you're working in your shop, you're doing something that's a little more important, and I'm just in the background, that's fine. But I do want to explain this. Everything that has to do with the property, with my projects, with tools, that all comes out of my own budget. I still work a full-time job, and I still work a lot of overtime to pay for these things. When I get donation money, that is the money that goes to the Aux Auto Assists. This is my credit card statement. I have a business account, but this is the one that I put all that stuff on. It's just shops and it's gasoline, because I do have to haul cars occasionally on a trailer. That's what I use Oxy with an A for.